Hello everyone, this is Matt with InvestorFeed, and in this training I'm going to be introducing you to the new direct-to-investor or D2I era for raising capital. In this training you're going to be learning exactly how to raise unlimited capital for virtually any business venture by leveraging this new direct-to-investor model without in-person networking or meetups, without cold calling and cold emailing, and without even leaving your home office. So with that being said, let's begin. So here's exactly what we're going to be covering in this training today. In section number 1, I'm going to be introducing you to the new direct-to-investor era for raising capital online without any gatekeepers. In section number 2, I'm going to be revealing 20 plus different industries quietly leveraging this new direct-to-investor model right now to raise capital. In section number 3, I'm going to be going over how our $100 billion plus investor audience network has unlocked the ability to advertise direct-to-investor online. And finally, in section number 4, we're going to discover our proprietary digital fundraising operating system to raising capital on autopilot for virtually any business venture. So the good news, if you're watching this video right now, is that the majority of the financial industry right now is completely blind to the new way that new school investors are using to raise millions of dollars in capital online faster and easier than ever before, without being beholden to traditional gatekeepers like Wall Street, Silicon Valley VCs, angel investors, and other large institutional investment firms, without relying on your existing network of high net worth investor relationships, wealthy connections, or family members, without wasting hundreds of hours cold calling, cold emailing, and networking in person with potential investors at meetup events, without having a super experienced investing track record or reputation, and finally, without requiring long, drawn out manual in-person investor relationship building cycles with absolutely unpredictable results, aka whining and dining investors. So we've coined this revolutionary new movement taking the world of finance and investing by storm as direct-to-investor or D2I digital fundraising. So the same new technologies and emerging global shifts that have enabled the direct-to-consumer or D2C era and empowered millions of small business owners and entrepreneurs are now being utilized specifically by capital raisers. So here are the global shifts that have enabled the direct-to-consumer era. Number 1 is going to be digital platforms. So anyone can now set up a website and take payments online, allowing businesses to sell their products and services directly to consumers online, bypassing those traditional retail gatekeeper channels. Number 2, social media. So anyone can now set up social media accounts on platforms with billions of consumers like Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter X, etc. to receive free organic discovery and exposure for their business. Number 3, this is a big one right here, targeted paid advertising. So anyone can now set up a paid advertising account with ad platforms such as Facebook or Google to target their exact customer profile with ads to promote their products and services. And number 4, online consumer behavior. So obviously consumer adoption of the internet has accelerated rapidly as the vast majority of the population is online for many hours per day with increased trust for online interactions and transactions. So this is basically democratized business for all. So the direct-to-consumer or D2C era is to selling products, what the direct-to-investor or D2I era is to raising capital. So here is traditional product sales versus the new direct-to-consumer era. So traditionally in the old era, before the major shift we talked about, if you wanted to launch and sell a product, you would have to get your product into one of these large department chain stores like Walmart, Target, etc., where all the customers would go to actually buy products. So they were ultimately the gatekeepers that would decide if your specific product even be seen or not. But now, in the direct-to-consumer era, if you want to launch a product, you simply just set up a website, which can be done in literally less than an hour using software like WooCommerce or Shopify, and then bypass those traditional gatekeeper channels by promoting and getting attention from those same exact customers online through both social media and paid advertising and sending them directly back to your website in order to purchase your product. So now how does this relate to traditional investing and the new direct to investor era? So traditionally, if you had an investment opportunity, a startup looking for funding, etc., and wanted to raise capital, you would need to go to these large institutional funds since they held all the capital of the individual investors that have invested with them to manage their capital. So once again, just like the direct to consumer era, they were ultimately the gatekeeper that would decide if your investment would even be seen or not. But now in the direct to investor era, if you want to raise capital, you simply just need to set up a website and an investor portal and then bypass those gatekeeper channels by promoting and getting attention from those same individual investors, once again, online through both social media and paid advertising, which is now available to us, and sending them directly to your website to schedule a call, to speak with your investor relations team, to raise capital direct to investor. So here are some of the key regulatory milestones that have essentially unlocked the direct to investor movement. So it's called the Jobs Act, the Jumpstart Our Business Startups Act, that was signed in 2012. So the Jumpstart Our Business Startups Act was signed into law in 2012, which aimed at easing SEC regulations to help small businesses and startups raise capital. So here are some of the different laws that were enacted. So we have Rule 506C, which enabled funds to begin general solicitation and advertising for certain security offerings, provided that all the purchasers are accredited investors and the issuer actually takes reasonable steps to verify their accredited status. So now with 506C, we can actually do general solicitation and advertising online in comparison to before 2012, when everything was basically closed off to the public. So solicitation and advertising of private investment opportunities were tightly restricted, and only accredited investors from an issuer's existing network could be approached. But that all changed due to Rule 506C. And then we also have Regulation A, which introduced essentially mini IPOs, enabling private companies to raise up to $50 million. I believe it's $75 million now, from both accredited and now also non-accredited investors, opening you up to another pool of the entire population, subject to certain limitations and disclosure requirements. And then also we have Reg CF, or regulation crowdfunding, which enabled non-accredited investors to participate in equity crowdfunding, allowing essentially anyone to invest in startups and small businesses up to certain thresholds based on their income and net worth. So these were some of the key regulatory milestones that have essentially unlocked the direct to investor movement. And the best thing about this is, in combination with that, trust in Wall Street and large financial institutions, especially after 2008, among individual investors is dwindling rapidly. So individual high net worth investors are searching online for alternative investments right now more than ever before. So direct to investor, or D2I fundraising, has been absolutely exploding now, with everyday investors splitting from Wall Street to invest in these alternative investment opportunities. So here we have two examples of companies such as Masterworks, who's basically democratized the ability for the average everyday investor to invest in art. They currently have around $940 million in assets under management. And then we also have Fundrise, who has basically democratized the ability through their application to invest in a bunch of different opportunities, such as venture capital, private credit, real estate, etc. And they currently have around $3 billion in assets under management. And then it's not just companies, but also individual new school investors are raising capital online direct to investor faster and easier than ever before. So this right here is Grant Cardone. You may have seen him on social media before. He has millions and millions of followers. And basically what he's done is he's opened up his fund, Cardone Capital. He raises money through Reg A and also 506C. He's basically opened up this opportunity for his own social media followers, his millions of social media followers across all of his different accounts on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, etc. He's opened up the ability for them to invest in institutional grade real estate through his fund, Cardone Capital, and he currently has around $4 billion plus in assets under management. So the main thing you need to understand here is that fundraising is shifting to a digital first era now. So in the old era, with the traditional investor, you'd have to do more in-person discovery at networking events or within your existing network. You'd have these long cycles of relationship building, typically 6 to 12 months with unpredictable results. And the decision making was mostly based on prolonged face-to-face manual interactions. In comparison to the new era today with the online investor, where the majority of that research and due diligence is actually conducted online themselves through your content that you post on social media and also your website. There's much quicker investment decisions, often within just a 4 to 6 week period in comparison to 6 to 12 months. And these people have more of a preference for digital communication and virtual meetings instead of in-person networking. So how do we get access to these modern online investors? Well, once again, it's all happening online. So here's some statistics from Boston Consulting Group, one of the big three global consulting firms. The average person spends around 8 hours per day on social media online. The average person spends around 2.5 hours per day specifically on social media. 52% of that time is spent online on a mobile device. 50% of these online investors don't even have a brand in mind when they start the research process. 86% of potential investors spend more than an hour researching online different investment opportunities, and 47% of online investors view at least 3 to 5 pieces of content before actually engaging with company rep. So the main thing you need to understand here is it's not just, unaccredited investors that are online on all these different social media platforms. The same exact profile of actual accredited investors, rich people, they are online, and not just online, but on all these different social media platforms as well. As you can see on the right side here, 86% of households with 100K income are on Facebook. 60% of households with 100K plus income are on LinkedIn. And then we have Google as well, where the majority of people go online. 88% of households with 100K plus income are on Google. So it's not just unaccredited investors that are online and on social media platforms. The same exact accredited investors, rich people, they are online as well, which is one of the biggest myths that I hear out there. Okay, so now that we understand that wealthy investors are online just like everybody else, the main question becomes, how do we actually connect with these wealthy investors online? So what does a digital fundraising process marketing direct to investor online look like exactly? Well, here's a recent article titled Taking Private Equity Fundraising to the Next Level, authored by the partners of the big three global consulting firm Bain & Company. So there's McKinsey, there's Boston Consulting Group, and then there's Bain & Company. They're doing around $6 billion per year working with the largest private equity companies, hedge funds, and Fortune 500 companies. And in this article, they describe exactly how to raise even more capital in today's current environment. So their solution to winning the race for scarce capital means building best-in-class commercial capabilities. So what does that mean exactly? Well, we can look on the left side here. So they talk about how strong performance and skill at relationship building will always be at the heart of raising new capital, but effective fundraising strategies in the current environment looks more like enterprise sales tactics that software companies, financial service firms, and other B2B sellers rely on every single day. So this is the new strategy in the current environment, modeling the exact strategies of traditional software companies, financial service firms, and B2B sellers. So strategic selling means defining the ambition, segmenting your customers, honing a differentiated, data-driven value proposition, optimizing the team, and developing commercial motions that win the market. And this is exactly what we've developed with our direct-to-investor D2I digital fundraising motion. So the traditional strategies of raising capital in a more one-to-one manual format were very inconsistent, time and effort inefficient, and mostly unpredictable once you actually tapped out of your closest network. So traditionally, the first step would be, in order to raise capital, would be to utilize some form of manual one-to-one attention generation strategy to actually get in front of investors. So this is the very first step. So traditionally, The motion would be you're either cold calling, you're cold emailing, or you're doing some form of in-person networking and meetups, which is normally where the majority of your time would be spent working, up to 40 plus hours per week, with most of the time just being wasted on unqualified and uninterested prospects, which is obviously incredibly inefficient. Then, hopefully, if you're lucky, you'll actually be able to get some prospects that are somewhat interested and manually convert them into an outbound cold lead within your pipeline with potential to invest with you. Then, in the next step, you'll need to begin performing manual one-to-one nurturing of the leads in your pipeline, spending a large majority of your own personal time answering all their questions, wining and dining them, building a connection with them, and educating them on your investment thesis, with a hope that in the final step of the process, after all the time you spent getting their attention and nurturing them over the course of months or even years, that they'll actually end up investing with you. But as we all know, the final result is very, very unpredictable with these traditional strategies. And that's not normally how it turns out. And it most of the time ends up being a big waste of time and effort. But now the new way with digital fundraising, we create and film our perfect pitch for our investment in a video, and then we set up a simple ad campaign to present our perfect video pitch in a one-to-many format directly in front of high net worth investors online, non-intrusively inside their social media newsfeed for as little as $50 per 1,000 investor views of your video ad, with virtually zero manual personal time and effort required. You set up that advertisement once and you can run it to a virtually unlimited amount of people, as much as you like to scale up your advertising spend. And then in the next step, investors will self-select your video advertisement by clicking on it in their newsfeed, displaying clear interest and intent in your investment. And then they go onto your website and they fill out all their contact information to convert into an inbound warm lead within your pipeline. Once again, all happening automatically with zero personal manual time and effort required on your part. It's all happening automatically in the background. Then in the next step, you'll be able to nurture your prospective investor leads in, once again, a one-to-many automated format through social media and email automations with high quality educational content that they can watch on their own time at any time to build a connection, educate, and nurture your leads in a super high leverage format where you create that content once and it can be watched by a virtually infinite number of people at one time and continually provide value and educate your leads forever while it stays up published on the internet. It's that simple. And then finally, once you're actually ready to launch your investment offering, you can send out a couple emails to your pipeline, plus leverage the engagement data. This is kind of advanced, but you can also leverage the engagement data from your content and your website to have your investor relations team prioritize their outreach to these prospective investors to the most engaged and qualified leads based on the actual data with the highest intent to invest, allowing you to be super efficient with your manual time and effort. So this is the new direct to investor or D2I digital fundraising motion. So why is D2I digital fundraising ultimately the superior strategy to connect with individual high net worth investors in this digital first era? So this is kind of what we already talked about, but with traditional fundraising, it's the way you're generating attention is manual one-to-one. You're cold calling, you're doing in-person networking, you're cold emailing. It's very low leverage because it's actually requiring your own time and effort. In comparison to digital fundraising with scalable one-to-many automated attention generation, which is super high leverage. So you create that video advertisement once of your perfect pitch, and then you can promote that video to a virtually unlimited amount of people. Then number two, we have the comparison in marketing. So with traditional fundraising, you have cold, outbound, unpredictable marketing because you don't know if they're interested in your investment or not. But with digital fundraising, and this is one of the main benefits, you're utilizing inbound, intent-based marketing because, once again, these people, these qualified investors are clicking on your advertisement, they're self-selecting your advertisement, showing clear interest and intent in what you have to offer, and then they're typing in their contact information on your website, coming to you, interested in what you have to offer, in comparison, once again, to cold, outbound, completely unpredictable marketing where you don't know if they're interested or not. Then next, this is very important as well. With traditional fundraising, you have minimal individual data profile. So you may know the person's job title. You may have some form of estimation of their demographics, both financial and other forms of demographics. And then you have unknown behavioral data. In comparison to digital fundraising, where every single one of these advertising platforms, this is why they're worth billions of dollars, they have this extensive, we're going to be going into this a little bit further into this training here, but they have a very extensive, dynamically updated individual user data profile that you can utilize in order to target your perfect ideal investor profile. So you have these ad platforms have the exact demographics, their age, their financial demographics, etc. They understand the behaviors of the people on their actual platform. So Facebook understands every single website that you've gone to, every single post that you like, etc. They understand these people and have a very large, dynamically updated data profile on them. And that's one of the main benefits. And you can utilize that in order to target these high net worth investors online. And then lastly here, we can talk about the pixel targeting. So with traditional fundraising, you have absolutely zero automated gradual targeting optimization in comparison to digital fundraising utilizing these ad platforms, where you have what we like to call automated gradual pixel targeting optimization, meaning that the more conversions, the more people that actually opt in on your landing page, they type in their name, email, phone number, the better your the targeting on these ad platforms become, because Facebook, Google, etc., the biggest ad platforms, they utilize all the conversion data in order to better understand your ideal investor profile. So the more people that convert on your website into an actual lead within your pipeline, the better these ad platforms become at targeting your exact ideal investor profile. So that's extremely powerful as well. So this is exactly why D2I digital fundraising is ultimately the superior strategy to connecting with individual high net worth investors in this digital first era. Okay, so now that we've broken down exactly how direct-to-investor digital fundraising works, the main question you're probably asking yourself is, okay, this looks great, but who's actually doing this right now? Like, is this actually working in the marketplace right now? So that's exactly why I wanted to basically review an entire compilation of actual real-life case studies with companies from 20 plus different industries that are currently connecting right now with high net worth investors online to raise capital, just to show you that if they can do it, there's no reason why you can't too. Okay, so for each industry, I'm going to literally be showing you actual real life Facebook ads running right now from all different types of companies, funds, syndications, etc., connecting direct to investor online through this exact digital fundraising strategy. So here to start off, we have multifamily funds and syndications that are generating high net worth investor leads online with paid ads in order to raise capital to acquire a variety of different types of multifamily properties. Here we have some more ads coming from a variety of different multifamily funds and syndications. Next, we have oil investment funds looking to generate high net worth investor leads online with paid ads in order to raise capital for exploring and developing new oil fields. We have startup company investments looking to generate high net worth investor leads online with paid ads in order to secure funding for innovative startups, instead of, the traditionally angel investors and venture capital, those gatekeepers. So here we can see nanotechnology medicine, they're raising capital for that. We have different biotech investments. We have looks like reusable batteries. And here we have some even more startup company investments in a variety of different industries. We have psychedelic teletherapy raising capital. We have esports. They're doing a pre-IPO investment with a minimal investment of $100,000, connecting direct to investor through Facebook ads. We have wind turbines as well. So just a variety of different types of startup company investments. And if psychedelic teletherapy can raise capital through Facebook ads, if esports can raise $100,000 at a time through Facebook ads, there's no reason why you can't get investment and raise capital online through the exact same strategies as well. Next, we have small business and franchises looking to generate high net worth investor leads online with paid ads in order to raise capital for small business growth, working capital, and franchise expansion. So here we have car washes that are raising capital. We have boutique fitness franchises. We have different restaurants. We have even a bourbon investment offering as well, where people are basically investing in Kentucky bourbon barrels. So literally everything that you can think of is being advertised in order to raise capital. We have hard money lenders and debt funds looking to generate high net worth investor leads online with paid ads in order to raise capital for offering asset-backed loans. We have private credit opportunities, people looking to generate high net worth investor leads online with paid ads in order to raise capital for different private equity opportunities. We have land investment funds, so people looking to generate high net worth investor leads online with paid ads in order to raise capital to acquire and develop land. We have development and construction funds. So they're looking to generate high net worth investor leads online with paid ads in order to raise capital for construction projects and financing new developments. So on the left side here, you can see oceanfront developments in Hawaii. They're looking to raise capital for different small construction, single family construction projects in Florida. So just a variety of different funds raising capital for so many different opportunities. Commercial real estate funds looking to generate high net worth investor leads online with paid ads in order to raise capital for a variety of different commercial real estate investments. So here we have retail strip centers, we have industrial commercial real estate. We have self-storage facilities, hotel to multifamily conversion investments. This is all being advertised online in order to raise capital. We have short-term rentals and Airbnb funds. So fund syndications looking to generate high net worth investor leads online with paid ads in order to raise capital for acquiring and managing short-term rental properties. We have RV parks and mobile home funds looking to generate high net worth investor leads online with paid ads in order to raise capital for investing in RV parks and mobile home communities. We have financial advisors and tax planners looking to generate high net worth investor leads online with paid ads in order to attract clients for capital management and tax planning services. We have IULs, annuities, and retirement planners looking to generate high net worth investor leads online with paid ads in order to attract clients for life insurance, annuity, and retirement planning products. Private equity companies looking to generate high net worth investor leads online with paid ads in order to raise capital for private equity investments such as businesses, real estate assets, etc. We even have, random, unique alternative investments. So people looking to generate high net worth investor leads online with paid ads in order to raise capital for unique and niche alternative investment opportunities. So we have, as you can see on the left side here, people looking to raise capital for e-commerce investment opportunities, unique luxury real estate opportunities in Mexico, development projects in Dubai. So there's all different types of unique investments that people are advertising online to basically generate high net worth investor leads and raise capital from them. This is all happening online right now. These are all ads pulled directly from the Facebook platform of people advertising right now these exact opportunities. And if they can do it, there's no reason why you can't too. So direct to investor or D2I fundraising is currently a virtually untapped goldmine for capital raisers in virtually any industry. And now is your perfect opportunity to take advantage of this, because once again, if I just show you 20 plus industries that are currently doing this right now, if they can do it, there's no reason why you can't too. That's exactly what you need to understand here. Okay, so now that we've broken down exactly how direct-to-investor digital fundraising works, we've shown 20 plus different industries using this exact strategy. Now the question becomes, how do you personally take advantage of this new democratized way of raising capital online direct-to-investor? Well, we've actually developed what we call our direct-to-investor acquisition equation to answer this very question in a very simplified format. So the top part of the equation is the responsibility of the operator, which is going to be you. So the very first step in actually acquiring any investors for your fund, syndication, etc., is actually getting targeted attention from your ideal investor avatar. And the reason this is the very first step is because if you cannot get in front of qualified investors with your pitch, then there is no possibility of acquiring any investors, period. So then once you actually attract these investors and convert them as a qualified lead in your pipeline, the next step is actually building trust with the prospective investors that have shown that they have actual interest and intent in your investment. And the key to understand here is that with sophisticated high net worth prospects, there is no hardcore, marketing or manipulation happening in getting them to actually make an investment decision. There are two components to building trust with investors. Number one is actually educating them on your unique investment thesis and why it's the number one investment opportunity personalized to their exact investor avatar. And then number two, it's building an actual connection with them through that nurturing process. So then finally, once you've generated attention from your ideal investor avatar, and then you've built trust with them as well, now we can move to the bottom part of the equation with the investment, which is where you can present your investment opportunity to them, which is obviously, which you obviously want to optimize to have the most competitive returns and then the most competitive risk profile as well. So your ability to effectively generate targeted attention from your ideal investor avatar, build trust through education and connection, and then present them with an attractive investment with competitive returns and risk will ultimately determine the scalability of your direct to investor acquisition for your fund, syndication, etc. So that's exactly how our direct to investor acquisition equation works. So the good news here is we've actually invented a brand new technology that has essentially democratized the ability for any capital raiser to instantly begin generating targeted attention directly from qualified high net worth investors on demand at scale. Without any existing net worth, wealthy connections or referrals, without any existing digital or social media presence or spending years posting content to actually build an audience, without wasting any time performing completely inefficient one-to-one cold outreach methods such as cold calling, DMs, cold emailing, in-person networking, etc., without partnering with expensive crowdfunding platforms or brokers if they even decide they want to work with you. Once again, those are gatekeepers. And then finally, without wasting money on traditional advertising methods to connect with mostly unqualified people who do not have the money to invest. So how do we do that? Well, it's called InvestorFeed, the world's first $100 billion plus high net worth investor audience network. So the problem with traditional advertising is that there's billions of users online, but only approximately 14% of the USA actually qualify as accredited investors or someone who has, a decent amount of capital to invest. So the main question here is, how do you actually focus your resources and efforts on engaging only specifically this qualified investor audience? Well, the solution here is our InvestorFeed pre-built $100 billion plus investor audiences, which can be directly uploaded into any advertising platform as a custom audience to target with paid advertising in just a couple clicks. So traditionally, it has been very complicated and expensive to target specifically high net worth investors with paid advertising online until now. Because InvestorFeed has unlocked the ability to advertise direct to investor on the internet by forcing these ad platforms to only show advertisements to our proprietary $100 billion plus network of pre-qualified high net worth investors. So InvestorFeed has truly democratized the fundraising process by enabling capital raisers to advertise directly to high net worth investors online with zero gatekeepers. So for capital raisers, InvestorFeed basically gives anyone with an idea and a dream the ability to advertise their investment directly in front of our $100 billion plus proprietary data network of pre-qualified high net worth investors to raise capital without cold calling, meetups, or even leaving your home office. We've truly democratized the fundraising process. You're no longer beholden to a small exclusive group of gatekeepers on Wall Street or Silicon Valley anymore that will ultimately decide if your idea will even be seen or not. And we do not charge any percentage of capital raised like these crowdfunding and capital raising agencies, allowing you to save hundreds of thousands to even millions of dollars. And this system isn't just good for the capital raisers, it's also good for the investors as well. It's good for both parties involved because it gives investors, high net worth investors, the ability to actually view quality investment opportunities instead of random ads non-intrusively inside their social media newsfeed online on their own time without any annoying interruptions. So zero cold calls and zero cold emails with InvestorFeed. And then investors have complete control to self-select which investment opportunities they want to interact with. So if they like the deal, they can click the ad, fill out their contact information, and contact the company. If they don't like the deal, once again, super non-intrusive. They just continuously keep on scrolling through the news feed. This is a great system for not just the capital raisers, but the investors as well, because it's non-intrusive. There's no cold calls, there's no cold emails. And the investors' contact information and their data is kept 100% private, protected, and fully encrypted. But InvestorFeed is just one single component of our entire digital fundraising operating system to raise millions of dollars in capital online on autopilot for virtually any business venture. So just like in the article we read earlier in this training from Big 3 consulting firm Bain & Company called Taking Private Equity Fundraising to the Next Level, effective fundraising in the current environment looks more like the enterprise sales tactics that software companies, financial service firms, and other large B2B sellers rely on every single day. So now what I want to do is actually introduce you to our proprietary system that we developed over the course of years to directly apply the core principles of this B2B digital marketing, direct response marketing, specifically for fundraising in virtually any industry. So this is our InvestorFeed digital fundraising operating system. There are 9 different components to the operating system, beginning with number 1, the unique investment thesis. So you need to craft the unique and differentiated thesis behind your core investment strategy to promote to high net worth investors for enhanced response and overall advertising performance. Then we move down into our online investor attraction platform. So now that we have the unique investment thesis set up, now we can lay the foundation of your online platform to attract your ideal investor avatar and educate them on your unique investment thesis with relevant evergreen content. Then we move into the ChatGPT AI content creation engine, where we deploy cutting-edge AI technology to automate the creation of high-quality, engaging content across all the different online platforms with unmatched efficiency. Then we move into the conversion content amplification formula, so we can leverage our InvestorFeed investor audiences with these paid advertising platforms to instantly amplify that targeted conversion content directly to our $100 billion plus network of pre-qualified high net worth investors. Then we move into our intent-based inbound acquisition investor funnels, so we can systematize that inbound high net worth investor lead flow with an automated acquisition investor funnel that converts ice cold strangers into interested investors on autopilot 24/7, 365. Then we move into our omnipresent authority retargeting matrix, where you can build an omnipresent filter bubble around those high net worth prospects that engage with your platform across essentially 99% of the internet with retargeting to establish yourself as the number one perceived authority for your investment strategy. Then we move into our P2P social media system, where you can transform your dead social media accounts into an actual automated evergreen system that educates, nurtures, and converts prospective investors in your pipeline. Then once in your pipeline, we have our investor pipeline nurture automations. So you can plug in our sequence of proven and tested nurture automations to develop a pipeline of lifetime repeat investors on autopilot, allowing you to easily raise large amounts of capital quickly whenever you launch any new investment offering with just a couple simple emails and calls from your investor relations team. And then finally, to bring it all together, we have our control center KPI analytics dashboard, which is critical for digital fundraising, where you can install our control center CEO dashboard, which will provide you a Hawkeye's view of virtually every single KPI metric within your overall digital fundraising operation in order to hit your capital raising goals. So these 9 components are exactly what makes up our digital fundraising operating system. And when you leverage InvestorFeed in synergy with our digital fundraising operating system, you're able to establish what we call the digital fundraising flywheel with your investor acquisition operation, where you Number one, launch your investment offering to the public. Number two, begin running paid advertising with our investor audiences to attract and convert qualified prospective investors with unprecedented efficiency, in combination with your organic social media, which is attracting new prospective investors as well, while also simultaneously educating and building connection with existing leads in your pipeline, and ultimately converting them into actual investors, all happening 24/7, 365 on autopilot, once again, without any manual time and effort required. And then if you're fulfilling on your promises and providing those quality returns and benefits from your investments, then you also receive what we like to call the afterburner effect of your existing investors in your pipeline referring even more investors. So it's essentially free investor growth with zero extra advertising costs. So our digital fundraising operating system in combination with InvestorFeed is a predictable, scalable, and self-sustaining system of investor acquisition where you can control your lead flow like a faucet and choose to turn it up or down based on your operational capacity that operates 24/7, 365, essentially on autopilot, generating discovery amongst new prospective investors, educating them, and building connection through strategically created conversion content that you create once and can be viewed at scale with zero extra time and effort required, and ultimately finally converting them into hot qualified leads within your pipeline for your investor relations team. This is the ultimate system to future proofing your investor acquisition strategy and establishing a competitive edge by getting in on the ground floor of this new, better way to connect with individual investors and establishing your data economies of scale moat before everyone else catches on over the next couple of years. So that is the training today. In section number one, we went over introducing the new direct-to-investor era for raising capital online without any gatekeepers. In section number two, we revealed 20 plus different industries quietly leveraging this new direct-to-investor model right now to raise capital. In section number three, we went over how our $100 billion plus investor audience network has unlocked the ability to advertise direct-to-investor online. And in section number four, we went over our proprietary digital fundraising operating system to raising capital in combination with InvestorFeed on autopilot for virtually any business venture. So thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to visit our website, schedule a call, or email us.